All right, that is called We've Been Here by Cannon and Aaron Cole. All right, guys, question of the day that I got for ya. Okay, so today we're going to ask this one question, and the question basically is how can you believe that the Bible is true, is accurate? Because you know what, honestly, man wrote the Bible, and man is flawed. Man likes to give his own interpretation. How can you trust that over years and centuries of just it being transcribed several times, this, that, and the other? There's a million questions, right? And I have asked all of these questions, and just the answers that I've kind of been given, and sometimes it's just common sense of just doing our own research, right? But it's mind blowing. So when it comes to the question of the Bible being accurate and it being what we should follow, like all inclusive. People say that the Bible stands for the basic instructions before leaving Earth. That this is all inclusive. This is it. Don't follow anything else. It usually opens up a whole can of questions. One is the accuracy, and two is, well, there could be possibly more stuff. If we follow our relationship with God and we become one with God and we develop that relationship, like he could like give you more stuff, right? That's outside of the Bible. So it's a two-part question. So first part, let's dig into it. How can we believe that this Bible, that this book is just the infallible word of God? What I love is history. Love me some history. So if we look at history, the Bible is reliable based off of accurate historical and eyewitness accounts. That's number one. We're going to dig a little deeper in a second. Historical and eyewitness accounts. Several eyewitness accounts that attest to the same thing happening, the same event happening, things like that. Several eyewitness accounts. There's not well, I don't want to say that because I don't know if that's true, but to have a large amount of people attesting to the same thing, that in itself will just kind of just put that to the side, okay? Let's keep going. Archaeological and historical tests that have been done. If you get on Nat Geo, right, or the History Channel, there's so many different segments about uncovering biblical things, situations, things that have happened. And the fact that archaeologists excavated these different cities or these different tombs or these different pieces of material that have stuff etched in on it that have produced, the reliability of, okay, this was a part of a palace, going back to King David, so many different things, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So biblical cities have been excavated. Situations, the flood, they have done studies on that. Did the flood actually happen? The whole Noah's Ark thing, right? Did that really happen? They have done tests and they have found evidence attesting to such. Different invasions that happened to the Jews, things like that, those have been tested, and they have found evidence to attest to such things. Burials of certain kings that are in the Bible, they're buried at certain places, certain times. All of this was written in the Bible, and there's so many different things that just check off the, okay, well, this was proven true. They have found this. They've researched that. They've seen this. And that lines up with the Word of God, right? And so checking off different stuff, all right? The Dead Sea Scrolls that were found. Just so many different things. The walls of Judah falling, right? Remember how they just marched around there 7 times and then they said a shout on the 7th day and the walls came tumbling down? They have found so many different things. Sodom and Gomorrah, the whole place being burned up. If you get into some of the articles or documentaries where it's talking about these biblical accounts, it's just amazing to see how it matches up with the Word of God. Now, do you believe it or not? That's up to you. You don't have to, but it just brings that credibility to what we already read in the Bible and just to affirm that, okay, yeah, this thing is true. Besides that, we talked yesterday about, miracles, healings, and just the personal experience, of God, and that's awesome. That just adds to it. But man, there's something about history that I love. Something about seeing these little pieces of evidence that just are puzzle pieces to the big picture is absolutely phenomenal. So for me, that answers the question of, okay, is the Bible true? Did someone just make this stuff up, right? Is this a false religion? No, these things have happened, and so it gives that credibility to the whole. Now, the second part of it, let's talk about, okay, well, in my relationship with God, there could be so much more than just this Bible, because God is a big God. So God, will speak to you and just tell you stuff that's totally outside of the Word of God, because He's that good of a God, right? Okay, I'm not saying that God can't give you knowledge and give you wisdom of stuff on a deeper level. I'm not saying that. But what Satan does is he tries to infuse his thinking. If a ship is going its course, right? And it's supposed to stay this perfect course, it'll get to its destination. If you just take it off course just by a little degree, just the most minute degree, in the long run, 100 miles out, whatever, they're totally off. That little degree, that little measurement of being off produced in their life this big drastic change, them being set off course. And so when we're looking at the Bible, it's the same thing. We aren't supposed to add or take away from the Bible. It is what it is. God gave us the Bible and said, follow this, and you'll be good. Don't add to it and don't take away. Let's look at some scriptures where it's talking about that. We can go to Proverbs 30:5-6. It says, every word of God proves true. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Do not add to his word, lest he rebuke you and you be found a liar. Okay, let's do another one. Deuteronomy 12:32. Everything that I command you, you shall be careful to do. You shall not add to it or take away. Let's do one more. Revelations 22:18. I warn everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If anyone adds to them, God will add to him the plagues described in this book. Ouch. There's a whole lot more than that, okay? More scriptures on that. But we have to remind ourselves, sometimes we get... Satan is good at being Satan. He's good at messing up our lives if we allow him to. He's good at infusing a little bit of his thinking so that we veer off the path in a huge way. You look at Adam and Eve, and, God was like, hey, don't eat this. And Satan's like, well, hey, you just want to be as smart as God, so he's cool with it, right? He does things to get us to be veered off course. It's small. It's little. So when we're talking about adding to the Bible, when we're talking about taking away from the Bible strictly says, hey, don't do that. Don't do that at all. Just stick with this and you'll be good. Sometimes we think that we're real smart. And I like to look at it like this. An ant compared to a human. If we were God and the ant was us, right? An ant's knowledge does not compare to a human's knowledge. We can't even begin to articulate to an ant, even if we could speak ant language. I don't even know if there's a language. But come on, we can't even articulate in any shape, form, or fashion to an ant the knowledge that we have in our brain. It doesn't have the capacity to understand. So when we're looking at God, it's the same thing. He's like, look, I'm giving you this book. Follow it, you'll be good. Satan's like, well, hey, you know what? This is a little drop of extra knowledge. You follow that, you'll be like God. You follow that, you'll have a one-up on every other Christian. You'll have this extra knowledge, this extra wisdom, and that'll look good on your little resume, right? That good Christian, that Christian that has all this knowledge. No. The Word of God says just follow that. Follow that. Follow the Bible. Don't add to it. Don't take anything away. The moment we start to add to it, the moment we start to take away, it's moving that path that we have just a millidegree, and in the long run, we'll see how far we are from God. And we may not see it on this earth, but when we get to the pearly gates and God's like, hey, I do not know you, depart from me. Boom. There it is. So don't play Russian roulette with that. Just follow the Bible. Don't add to it. Don't take away. And hey, check out the different documentaries on just all the historical, archaeological things that have been found proving that the Bible is true. It's absolutely, absolutely phenomenal. All right, guys, Social Club Misfits, love for real. Enjoy.